make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. The eternal life, which is childhood, which with childhood fills the world, would be extinguished. Not believe in Santa Claus? You might as well not believe in fairies. You might get your papa to hire a man to watch all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa. But even if they did not see Santa Claus coming down, what would it prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus. But that is no sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in this world are that neither nor men, the most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Did you ever see fairies dancing on the lawn? Of course not. But that doesn't prove they're not there. Nobody can conceive or imagine all the wonders that are unseen and unseeable in the world. You may tear apart the baby's rattle to see what makes the noise inside, but there is a veil covering the unseen world that not the strongest man, even the united strength of all the strongest men that ever lived, could ever tear apart. Only faith, fancy, poetry, love, romance can push aside that curtain and view and picture the supernatural beauty and glory beyond. It is all real. Oh, Virginia. In all this world, there is nothing else real and abiding. No Santa Claus? Thank God he lives, and he lives forever. 1,000 years from now, Virginia. 10 times 1,000 years from now, we will continue to make glad the heart of a child. That's it.
Have I sent how big is God? How does God look like, or what does God look like? Did I send that some of you? Well, we're gonna hear it.
I feel like you did some of it.
Well, I want you to hear it.
Is it a song?
This'll be mine.
A Kaiser Permanente Medicare and
I don't wanna
Medicaid
hear
plan
that.
brings your care and coverage together in
Wait a
one
minute,
place.
excuse me while
And
I'm
doctors
Yeah, I've heard
and pharmacy
this.
will get your health
You can go to
care
Kaiser
and
Permanente and
because when everything comes together, you get the care you
I'll
need.
find that. That's okay. Let's get this.
listen.
My little girl asked me, Daddy, what does God look like? Is he tall like the mountains? Is he big as the sky? Does he wear a hat like you? Does he drive a truck? Or does he ride a bike? Does he like ice cream? Does he have
Okay, Cal, your turn.
Is he done now?
Everybody's done.
Well, I'm
He's
hold on.
gonna say something.
I hope when Corey, you and Karen were growing up, is when you had a question about God, whether or not I answered it or I satisfied that, because I think the most important thing that a parent can do is point their children to God. And, I hope I can do that with my grandchildren, my great-grandchild. Don't know how much longer we all have to be here, but I've just, realized that we may be the only, person can ever share with anyone, that God is real. He's real. And, so that's where I not only remembered, but it's something the last several months of my devotion. There's no telling how many times that I've played that, and every time I get a little emotional, because that's what kids are looking for. They're looking for somebody to point them to the Lord. So anyway, now Cal,
You
Your
done?
turn.
You done
He's
am
done.
I done?
now? Okay. You should have said the end of it.
The end.
Alright. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention?
Yes.
Alright. So, first of all, I got two funny jokes.
I'll go ahead and start laughing now.
P is for poopy, that's good or not for me. P is for poopy, that's good or not for me. Alright. So, and the last one, knock knock,
Who's there?
family, Family Guy.
Okay, Cal.
Alright, y'all ready for this? Alright, so it's probably been about 4 months since I've made my last document. Well, actually, I had to get a new account because my old account got hacked. So this is my new one. This is the rest of my senior year. It's second semester of my senior year. So just to warn you, just letting y'all know that if y'all can't participate in the rest of my story, and if y'all have to leave early, that's totally fine with me, and I don't totally mind.
Well,
Alright. Alright, so y'all ready?
yeah,
Ready.
Alright.
we better be.
Hey, Cal, if we can't finish, you can send us the video.
Okay.
Previously from last year's PowerPoint presentation, I've noticed some of y'all, especially Seth Bonds, couldn't participate in the rest of my whole story from preschool to 12th grade, which was like 1 hour and 9 minutes long, and that took me 1 month to finish. So I wanted to make this year's presentation more shorter than it was last year, and after that I will be playing a video from second half of my senior year, just so y'all won't get bored during this story time. But like I mentioned before, if y'all can't participate in the rest of my story, I'm totally fine if y'all leave early. Anyways, sit back, relax, and enjoy this short and improved presentation of 2025.
Here we go.
Tonight's Christmas presentation is Cartersville High School, second semester of 12th grade. Continued. Cartersville High School, 12th grade to 2020, from 2024 to 2025 senior first period, Carly Lugene for theater arts. I remember in that class, we used to go around a circle and we used to do makeup in class. But the makeup was really painful because, first of all, when my classmates put makeup on my face, I felt so uncomfortable because I had to close my eyes, and it also hurts my cheeks, especially with Q-tips. And second of all, the makeup stain on my face was really hard to get off. And whenever I go wash my face in the restroom, the water's too cold for me to use, which makes me shiver. I remember mostly every day we'd go in the auditorium every day, which I think is better than sitting in a classroom. And I used to wander around the music auditorium lobby too, in the restrooms. All right. First half semester, second period, Kyle Tucker for American Government. In his class, it was him, and I thought I was going to have Coach Sammy Rosario in there to help us, but instead, it was Joseph Underwood, which is who I had last semester as my financial algebra teacher, and also my helper in there was Kira Davis. She was an older sister of my friend Tegan Davis, who is really sweet to me. Anyways, back to Coach Rosario. So I've had him for 3 years, such as Nicole Woodard for environmental science, Janeline Hahn for world history, and Wade Stewart for U.S. history. But not even Kyle Tucker for American Government, which really kind of disappointed me. Coach Tucker is a really amazing teacher and loves to make this class really easy. He even reminds me of Harrison Ford, who is the voice actor of Han Solo and Indiana Jones. In his class, we learned about governments, constitutions, law enforcements, and we even said, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, then one will be appointed for you. I remember I always loved having fun, like getting to talk to my friend Jermaine Jackson a lot, and I even prankly played the fatal error sound from the computer, which was really hilarious. We took a few tests in there, which was not too bad, and on March 14th was the last day of being in American Government class, and I passed that class and move on to economics. All right, second half semester, second period is Charles Hartman for personal finance and economics. Beginning on March 17th, which was on St. Patrick's Day, was my first day of being in economics. First of all, I was really looking forward to have the best first day in that class, and even get to greet everybody at the doors, seeing them wearing green in the mornings, and even said, happy birthday to my friend Riley Huff. But until my dick of a mother, Corey, had to hinder my plans because she randomly signed me up for the stupid dentist appointment for absolutely no reason, which was way too repetitive. And the worst part is that I missed first period and the beginning of my first day of economics class, which really broke my streak of having no tardies and absences. And this really made me extremely mad. More like this whole situation was bad. So I went back home and started crying my tears down, where I went to bed and started lying my head down. Anyways, Coach Hartman is a really funny teacher, but he is very loud teacher. And my helper was Katie Story. I remember he asked me one time if Kate is my sister, and I said yes, which was a coincidence. I remember he even said we can use the quiz sheets, which is the study guides, such as like notes, But what he really doesn't want for a student to do is to take those sheets out of the classroom, which if we did take one out, it could really interfere his life. We took some tests, I think every Friday, and some of them I think I did miserable on, but not too bad. I remember I used to present my animated videos on the Recordex smartboard, including Jermaine Jackson's
Jermaine Jackson.
19th or 18th birthday, I think 19th birthday videos, and he pretty much loved it. And then at the end of the year, we all took one last and final boss test of the semester, which was on the last day. And I've passed personal finance and economics. All right, third period is Cynthia Voss for forensic science. So this was the moment I've been waiting for. We had two teachers, Cynthia Voss and my helper, Kyle Lumberg. Now, Miss Voss is pretty nice and a sweet teacher, but I noticed that she is partially strict, such as cell phones and not doing work in class. She even kind of threatened us and said, if you don't do your work, if you are not studying, and if you are not asking for help when we need it, you can fail this class. That means you will not graduate in May, okay? She even asked, is my intent to ever hurt someone's feelings? Absolutely not. If I do hurt your feelings, do not walk out that door without talking to me first. Are we clear? Okay? I never want to hurt anyone's feelings. So yeah. And she is not from Georgia. She is from New Jersey. She is straightforward. She is blonde. She's been married to her husband for 18 years. And Coach Lumberg is pretty amazing helper too. Although, if we just had him, we would all survive through. He taught 7th grade science when I was in 8th grade, and I've met him again my junior year. And he kind of reminds me of a space ranger. No wonder he is not in terrible danger. In forensics, it was really interesting, but it was a really hard class. I really had to pay attention. In that class, we learned about fingerprints, textures, rifle guns, hair follicles, bloodlines, criminal, federal investigations, and many more. We even done 2 different PowerPoint presentations. Most of the work is pretty easy, but just the tests are pretty hard because there's a lot of answer choices. And my friend Chris Brock recommended me, if I study, okay, sorry. He talked to Miss Voss before. She wouldn't mind if I asked him for help. He took the class and passed with an 80. I remember in class, when we do work for every unit, we took notes, and we even did our journals, and we even were provided with binders. They grade them every test, and then at the end of the year, after that, we go on computers and play www.blookit.com to study right before we take the test. But since I never studied very well, I failed every test miserably. And I still retook the tests with Amanda Price after school, I remember every day for the last 2 minutes, she lets us get our phones and pack up. We can check our text messages, but she did not want social media. She doesn't want us taking pictures, which was a no-no. If we couldn't follow that basic rule, we wouldn't get our phones until the bell rings. And while we were waiting for the school bell to ring, she said, "Do not stand and wait near the door, or you'll be last when the bell rings." I remember while we were doing work in class, I remember every end of class before the bell, we tell good news. I used to send her animated photos of her saying, "What's your good news?" And I love to share my good news too. And we speak on the microphone. But I remember one day when my classmates had his phone during the entire class time, and while we were sharing good news, he accidentally dropped his phone on the floor underneath the lab table. And Ms. Voss heard the drop noise and immediately came over there to investigate and saw the phone on the floor. And so she instantly wrote him up and got him sent to the dungeon of despair, which I feel so bad for him. I used to make mean faces out of her by sending her faces on Outlook, and she laughs a lot. I remember one day while we were playing Look It for our next test, Miss Voss came to me and purposely put on my hoodie, and she said, "Cal, take your hoodie off now." And she was laughing and made me laugh too. I remember when Coach Lumberg was just messing around, Miss Voss hilariously said, "Stop it, Coach Lumberg." And I even said, "Write him up, Miss Voss. Send him straight down to Coach Cagle right away." Speaking of David Cagle, he's a pretty funny math teacher, but in general, he's a very strict and an undercover administrator. He randomly writes people up around the hallways too, especially over cell phones and having earbuds out in the hall. His daughter, Emma, is also friends with Amelia, and she also works for the police. And David said, "You better watch out for her, because she works for the police. You better be careful with her." We used to go into Coach Lumberg's classroom all the time and even have fun in there. My friend Jonathan Radford was painting one of my fingernails, and it's like fingertips, and I had to go wash it off in the restroom. I once barricaded his classroom door, preventing him and my classmates from coming in. I remember one day I made a birthday video out of Jermaine Jackson, presenting the video on the smartboard in her class, but Miss Voss was like, "How long is this of class?" So after the next minute, she wanted to pause the video and start class time. But at least Jermaine really loved it. And I even gave in the Snickers as his favorite type of candy. I remember around the end of the school year, I made a 10-fact forensic video out of Ms. Voss, and she loved it, but she really didn't like the part of when I made my friend Cameron Collum take steroids and made Miss Voss through one of my classmates' cell phone across the room and broke it, which I kind of hurt her feelings, and I felt so bad for her, and so I had to remake the video without any sorts of problems.
How did you throw that phone?
And for the last 2 days of class, I stayed in the cafeteria for all lunch periods, such as A, B, C, and D, since I passed forensics and never had to took the final for her class. Man, forensics was really rough, but I still managed to push it. All right, so fourth period is Tyler Putnam for Audio Video Technology 2. So this is my second time having audio video since I've had it my sophomore year. And this was the most amazing class of all time. We even did lots of recordings, editings, even lyric videos for songs. And it turns out one of the best coincidences is that my cousin Whitley McDaniel was also in that class too, which was really hard to believe, especially for my last ever class I could ever have. It was a miracle. I count this as a miracle, like this class is a miracle to me. And I used to send her videos of herself that she never knew I took. I remember she sometimes used to leave class early along with some other girls while waiting for the bell to ring, which was pretty hilarious. We sometimes go outside in the stadium and even had fun out there like filming too. I even found a secret room behind the bleachers. It was really hot in there, but huge. I even played a video of Coach Putnam saying, "Clean up at the end of class," which was really great. We sometimes go outside the cafeteria and help out the food drive, which is why ever Paul picked me up some days, it was really crowded outside. I also played my Pixar movie, Monsters Incorporated, on the TV, which is right beside the smartboard, on the wall in class. Oh, and shout out to Whitley for being one of my classmates for one semester. And I'm pretty sure she will have Miss Voss for Forensics 2, which will be really cursed for her. All right, advisement is Leslie Nix, which is second semester. And I still have it all here, but this is second semester. In her class, Miss Nix is also the mother of Talon, who is my friend. I remember in her class, we used to vote for whoever's the best prom king and queen. We sometimes get to go on computers. I even played the video on the smartboard of Talon Nix getting baptized at church. And Leslie was like, "Wow, Cal, I never expected Avery Baker to send that video to you." We even watched some videos on the smartboard. I said, "Good boy and happy trails."
It's goodbye.
All right, D lunch period at the cafeteria. which is second semester. So as we enter the cafeteria, I always love to get delicious chicken tenders with fries too, and even bread. So every day I sit with Jermaine Jackson a lot, and after lunch I go around the cafeteria and got to talk to more friends, including Whitley too. I remember every day I gave away soda cans to around 5 students, including Jermaine, and they sure enjoyed it. The last 2 days of school, I got to spend all third period in the cafeterias such as A, B, C, and D, and I got to interview some friends in there and ask them what their memories were for the school year and something good about me, and gave them hugs and happy trails. All right, the last slide, the moment you've all been waiting for, school in general. So every day in the mornings, I go in the cafeteria and got to talk to my friend Jermaine and the other people while waiting for the early bell to ring at 8:15, since I'm always early every single day. And also, I used to walk around the squares on the 2nd and 3rd floor of the STEM building. And after that, I love to greet people and my best friends at the doors. After school, Katie Story could not tutor me anymore because she was having a baby. So I had Elizabeth Holmes for just only 1 day. But she couldn't tutor me either because she's busy for other stuff. So instead, Amanda Price was my tutor for the whole year and took good care of me and helped me out. We even sang We Are Helpers song. I remember me, Coach Glenn Woodard, and my small group gang used to go on 3 field trips, plus 3 field trips from last semester. But we're going to talk about this semester's. We went on field trips to Dalton Convention Center, the Lowe's Distribution Center, and the Elites Lineman Training Institute. We even went to Lowe's Distribution Center, and I remember we couldn't bring anything inside at all, like cell phones, because they had scanning detectors, just like airports do. And after Training Institute, we went to Cece's Pizza in Dalton, which is one of my favorite places to go to. On March 15th, I went to the prom and had lots of fun there, like dancing with my best friends. And I even walked the red carpet along with my friend Blake Prince. And I felt so special there. And we eventually had to leave early because due to the rain outside. And me and Amelia went to Waffle House and saw some amazing friends there. And I remember on May the 7th was my graduation party, having lots of amazing teachers and friends. And during the graduation week, I went on a senior walk to middle school, elementary school, and primary school. And we even went to Sam Jones Methodist Church for graduation. We also went to the baseball game at Curley Field in Lawrenceville, Georgia. And my amazing friends were there too, including teachers and Miss Tears, Shelley Tears. Thursday, me and my class had our senior picture taken by Louis Tonsmeyer, and finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, May the 23rd.
One more time.
graduation ceremony. That's the day I graduated. So we were coming from the auditorium to the stadium. And I walked across the stage and got my diploma. And as I was walking back to my seat, I was blowing kisses to everybody, showing how I love them. And I sat right back down. My friend Jeremiah McNally, who sat right beside me, didn't get his diploma. Instead, it was senior hold. But I feel so bad for him. And then my friend Tala Nix even mentioned my name at the ceremony, saying that it was the best, saying that I was the best student, for treating all my best friends with love. He's pretty sure I know literally every single body that graduated tonight, which I know them. I really do. We turned our tassels from right to the left, and the chorus sang beautiful CHS song, and we all walked to the middle and threw our caps in the air and said, "Good boy, my sweet friends," and said, "Good boy to my sweet friends," and said, said goodbye to my sweet friends and happy trails. I hope they have the best time in college. And then eventually some of my friends are about to get married, such as Ariana Gray and Jackson Bagley, and even Cameron Cochran and Hadley Dye. But one of the craziest things to me and Chris Brock we've ever witnessed is that our friend Carson Toller, who works at the country club, and his wife have been married since high school. I don't even know why. He has a baby who is 8 days old, which means Carson might have been the first ever person to get married out of my class. Crazy, isn't it? Anyway, and then eventually I started getting a new job at American Storage, and that was the end of the Cartersville High School career, Cartersville School career journey for 15 years. The end.
Yay!
The end.
We have
Thank you very much for participating in my Cartersville school career journey. We hope y'all enjoyed this whole 15 years of school presentation story. Happy trails.
Happy
Congratulations, Jonathan Calvary Tate McDaniel. Hope you enjoy.
Alrighty.
we have pie. Pie.
Carson said that baby's is not his baby.
So, what was y'all's favorite part?
The end.
What's your,
I'm amazed that you remember all that stuff. Me either.
what was your favorite part? Like what class subject?
Forensics.
Forensics. I remember when Sarah had forensics. Remember you had forensic science, Sarah?
I
remember my graduation, too.
Complimented you for showing love.
Yeah.
That's the good.
Yeah, I took forensics with this boss, and it was a really hard class.
I don't think I had forensics.
I like all the funny
science.
moments
We got
that you made us laugh.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure Whit was.
You have to put it together.
No, it's together right now. It just clips. It clips in like you go like that.
Oh.
Yeah. You know what it is.
Yeah,
Put your laptop on.
Yeah, I
Cal,
remember.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
everybody was disappointed in your choice of words.
Catch one of the sent me to it recently.
You too? Oh.
Say something back.
Weird.
So if something happens to it, I got the other one.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks.
And you did know that this,
I don't have a copy
you're
of it.
made of.
Yeah. Lucy used it.
anything.
Oh, did you
it
get your-
will send
Did you get a, pizza pie?
to-
He's stopping his recording. Well, thanks, Mom.
You got a, hey, Cal, you got a